If you are stuck on someone who hurt you, who disappeared on you, or someone who just overall mistreated you, then this video is for you. My name is Megan. I am the Conscious Breakup Coach, and I am here to turn your heartbreak into the best glow up you have ever had. So, when we think about these people that we just cannot get over, we start to think that we are going insane. We start to question our own sanity because it's not just a matter of replaying the different situations you all had and how that might have gone wrong or what you could have done differently, but you're also having a hard time letting go of all of the hope that you had infused into the relationship. And sometimes we don't even realize how much hope we had in a relationship until that relationship comes to an end. But as I just mentioned in a video I just posted for TikTok, is when we think about love, love is about allowing. Love is about allowing our person to authentically be whoever they are, but also it's about allowing a person to go when they no longer serve a purpose in our life. So if we are continuing to chase someone who has already said that they don't want to be a part of our lives anymore, then that is not love, that is attachment. So let's get completely real. When we are dealing with insecurely attached people and relationships, it can sometimes look like one of the two extremes. Either it didn't work out, so therefore, was it even real to begin with? Did they ever even care? Or I still miss them. So if I still miss them, then that must mean that it is real, that it is meant to be. And you have to find that happy balance. That happy balance is where secure attachment lies. So many people confuse longing for love, and that is just not the case. Longing is the inability to move forward because you were so stuck on how you wanted things to be. When you are longing for someone, you're not allowing, and that's what we've already just discussed. That when we think about love, we think about allowing. Even from our very primitive years, coming into this world, the very beginning, our primary caretakers, no matter what, whether we are conscious to it or not, whether we are aware to it or not, there are certain ways that we expected our primary caretakers, our parents, to show up for us. And when they didn't show up for us in a way of which we saw fit, we still continue to love them. We love them in spite of. We love them in spite of, which is also the same as we love them while allowing them to be themselves. So there is no way to escape the whole allowing when it comes to love. Okay, I went on a whole rant. Back on topic. So when we are longing for someone, that is not us allowing the situation to be what it is. It is us kind of being stuck in that freeze mode of not really being able to move forward, which further agitates an attachment, especially an insecure. If you already start out insecurely attached, just because that's what insecure attachment is built upon. It's built upon the fantasy of all of the things that a relationship could be instead of the reality of what it is. And then let's be honest. Every person holds masculine and feminine energy within us. Whenever we are with someone that we are attracted to in a romantic way, it helps us to further fall into what energy feels most natural to us. So, if you are a woman, a heterosexual woman, then the energy that feels most natural to you is probably to be more feminine, whereas vice versa, it might, for a man, it might be to be more masculine. When we are in connection with others, we like the way we feel, like let's just be real about it. We like the way we feel because it allows us to fall deeper into our femininity or our masculinity, whichever feels natural to us. When we are single again, we are Having women are having to be Bob the Builder. We over here trying to figure out how to kill the spider all over again. So, a part of us not being able to let go of our partners is because a part of us feels that in letting go of our partner, we're also having to let go of that cherished version of ourselves where we feel like we can authentically fall into the energy that feels most comfortable to us. So, when we think about an inability to let go of past partners, we have to stop and think about what it is that you're really holding on to. And the driving force of that is unresolved abandonment wounds. The things that feed unresolved abandonment wounds is holding on for a different ending, wanting things to be different. That could look like the emotional loops that we play, where we keep replaying the same situations because that is our brain's way of trying to figure it out. That is a situation where our brain is like, this doesn't feel complete to me. So it'll keep replaying it and replaying it, trying to figure out a way to complete it. When you are going through a breakup and you are actively trying to get over a person, you are going to have to work to complete those emotional loops because our brains are logical. They are created to solve things. So as long as there is a problem to solve, our brain is on the mission, is ready to go. You have to stop your brain from constantly wanting to solve a riddle that has already been solved. The relationship has the closure that it needs. The closure is that the attachment styles played out and you all no longer have any growth that you all can do together in this time, or I should say at this time. You all have no growth that you all can do together at this time. That is the only closure that you need. And I know that a lot of these relationships can end brutally, and a part of you feels like it's unfair to have to sit there and lick your wounds by yourself while you're watching them go on and live their life. Either they're back on the dating apps or they're in another relationship and all is well. But let me tell you something. The person that experiences the most healing and has the most to gain from these types of breakups, from these types of dynamics, and not the ones that have already moved on before you can blink twice. Okay? Those are the ones that remain disconnected from their feelings. And when we say disconnected, we mean disconnected. The feelings don't just go away. They're just not present with them right now. The same way you have things that you experienced in your past that are still affecting you and your views on relationships to this day. You're not present with the pain of the things that happen, but you still have a memory of it. It's still affecting you. The same thing happens with avoidant partners or to those partners that seemingly have moved on so quickly. They are carrying those same pains, those same wounds. And until they heal them, every partner they encounter will experience the wrath of those wounds. So this is not a time to be concerned about how quickly are they healing and who they're dating and what they're doing. This is a time for you to be focused on you because the longer you continue to focus on them, you're doing exactly what they are doing in reverse. They are detached from their emotions by focusing on someone else, by being in that other relationship, and you remain detached from your emotions by focusing on someone else by now remaining in a energetic relationship because now it's no longer physical. Now it's just you just are continuing to exchange energy with them as long as you continue to think about them. And then there is a part of us that is also holding on to the idea of finally being chosen. I get that. Okay. Like, I can't tell you how well I get that of just wanting to be the person that the person chooses you, having someone that is your boyfriend or your girlfriend, someone that A helps you fall further into that energy that we were just speaking about that feels most comfortable for you. And then just also, in a sense, having a safe space or feeling like you don't have to do it alone. But some people are coming into your life because you are supposed to choose you. You are the one that you choose. You know, you are always being chosen. It's just a matter of who is doing the choosing. Who are you noticing that is doing the choosing? So, someone has discarded you, someone has walked out of your life abruptly. You have no idea what happened, what went wrong, what you could have done differently. The answer is nothing. I have a video about the soul contracts of avoidance, and I highly advise you to look at that because some people truly just come into your life because the only way that you would stop and actually look at you is if it was mirrored like almost perfectly for you. Someone comes into your life, you fall completely into them, and as quick as you can say, I love you, they are already gone. That person came to show that that is how quickly you will give yourself away in an attempt to get someone else to notice you. Everyone is coming into your life for a reason. And that's the way that you have to start looking at people. When you start looking at people as pillars for growth, and start allowing you to lead first, you will authentically connect with people better. You will authentically connect with yourself better, and you will love that much deeper. So, we've talked about the story that you could be telling yourself about why you are still missing them or why you can't let go. We have talked about what you are really holding on to. I forgot for a second there. We have talked about what you are really holding on to. Maybe you are still holding on to the hope of that relationship, or maybe you are still holding on to the version of you that showed up in that relationship. And now let's really get into the meat of why letting go feels so hard. So, the very first thing I want to talk about is the addiction that is playing out. Okay, even whether it is an insecure attachment or a securely attached couple, when we break these connections with people, especially the longer term they are, our brains are wiring together in certain ways. So when we have these connections, our brain gets used to wiring in a specific way in relation to that connection. Our brain gets used to releasing dopamine in relation to that connection. When we break these connections, our brain isn't just gonna stop what it's doing. We've had a breakup. It's time to stop now. No, it is business as usual. Dopamine is what drives, what fuels addiction. So when we break these connections, we are essentially having to wean ourselves off of people. It feels painful because it is painful. It is physically painful, especially if you are dealing with an insecure attachment style. It's especially more painful if you're dealing with an insecure attachment style because insecurely attached people don't look at relationships the way that relationships are supposed to be looked at to begin with. Okay. I say that with the most amount of love possible. I was insecurely attached. Okay. You ask any of my friends, and they will tell you that I saw red flags and I would be doing the cha cha slide. That shit has landed me in some real trouble. Okay. Chasing love. So I say this with the most love. You all don't look at relationships the way that relationships are supposed to be looked at. And it shows whenever the relationship ends, because when the relationship ends, it feels like your life has come to an end. It took me 2 years to get over a 5 month relationship. I feel you. Okay. But when we look at relationships the way that they are supposed to be as pillars for growth, then when that relationship ends, of course, there's going to be some sadness because we do build connections with people. You know, we're not robots, but ultimately, there's so much respect for what it was and what it now is. where there is no more of that lingering and that chasing and the begging and the pleading. So that's what happens when you start healing some of these attachment wounds. You are no longer looking for partners or loving partners through the lenses of your unmet needs. You're now looking at partners as a means for growth. You are looking at what are they reflecting back to me? And then, of course, in letting go, it is letting go of the fantasy. These insecurely attached relationships come with a ton of chemistry, albeit those are endless conversations. You all are meeting, and both of you all are speaking from your unmet needs. So the chemistry is on high. It literally feels like you could fly. Does it sound like I'm speaking from experience? So when those relationships end, all of the hope, all of the wishes, all of the future planning goes out the door. And it's hard to let go of that. It's hard to look at a person that you were once dreaming with and now see just a shell of them. I totally get that. But that is also a part of what is driving your inability to move forward, because it's not just a physical not being able to let go. There's an energetic connection that you continue. Every person that we are intimate with or have close relations with, there is an energetic cord that is passing between the both of us. And the longer, or I say the both of us, y'all know what I meant, passing between the both of you. And the longer you feed into the thoughts, the energy, the longing, the wanting, you are feeding the energy of that cord. So you're thinking that I can't get this person out of my mind. It must be meant to be. No, there's an energetic cord that you are keeping alive, and it's time for you to snip it so that you can now redirect your thoughts. But the only issue is that it's not going to just happen overnight. It has to be done with a concerted effort. And because it is impossible for me to have one of these videos without having a voiceover, I just want to add, first, I get inspired as I'm doing the editing, so that's why I have to add stuff. And second, I want to add in that there are cord cutting rituals that you can find on YouTube to help you with cutting the energetic cords of these people that you are in touch with. And you can make it very ceremonious, with your sage and everything. I have done this before. I will say I had to do it several times. No contact was not my strong suit. So do it as many times as you see necessary, but look into some cord cutting rituals to help you in cutting the energy. So now, how do we start releasing them? First, we have to reframe what this breakup is, okay? It is not a breakup, it is a return to self. Before this relationship, you had you, and now you shared you with someone for a little bit, and now you are returning back to you. The only difference is that you had an experience of a person in between the yous, and now you get the opportunity to dissect that experience and show up as a better, more healed version of you. That was a lot of views. That was a lot. I hope y'all followed. So anyway, we will look at this breakup as a return back to you, okay? Like, yes, you are grieving, you are feeling the pain, and it is so important to feel the pain and not suppress all of the feelings that are coming up. But there should also be a celebration of the return back to you as a better version. And how do we do that? Radical honesty. Okay. When we are anxiously attached, especially, we have a tendency to fantasize or romanticize a relationship that went sour months ago. Anxiously attached people can sometimes stay stuck in the first 3 months. I want you to get real with yourself. What was the reality of this relationship? And I'm not talking about what this person was doing for you. I'm talking about your overall emotional feeling. Because I was in a relationship with someone who was avoidant, that was doing all of the things, okay? He was carrying all of the bags, he was opening all of the doors, he was doing all of the things, making me laugh, making me giggle. But at the end of the day, I felt like I had to be a watered down version of me. That was my most overwhelming feeling. After the first month or so, when things started to get real, I felt like I was gradually becoming smaller and smaller to fit into his box of what a good relationship looked like. So I want you to become present with what is your overall feeling. And sometimes when we have people who are showing up in such a uh, present way, in such a physically present way, it's very easy to overlook the emotional well-being. Oh, I'm sorry, overlook your emotional well-being. But your emotional well-being is what is going to be driving that relationship. So it should not be an afterthought. It should be the thought. And then next, you're going to have to do some inner child healing. And that is where it becomes important to work with a coach or a therapist, someone who is specialized in healing inner child or trauma informed. Now, I say this because I firmly believe, if you have watched a few of my videos, you know I firmly believe in talk therapy. I see my therapist every Wednesday at 8 a.m. However, when it comes to a specific goal that you have in mind, you are trying to heal attachment wounds. You are trying to heal the mama trauma. You know, I feel like most women deal with a lot of mama trauma. When you're trying to heal the mama trauma, you're trying to heal the wounds from an absent parent, something very specific, then you should be working with a professional that is skilled in that area. Otherwise, it's going to be like you throwing darts at a board, just hoping to hit the target. And obviously, eventually, if you throw darts long enough, you'll finally get somewhere. But I have worked with people that have said that they healed things with me in 2 sessions that they had not healed in 3 years of talk therapy. This isn't a shameless plug, okay? Maybe it kind of is, but I'm just saying, if you're not dealing with someone who is specifically targeted to get to the things, get to the meat of what it is you want to solve, you could be aiming in the dark for a very long time before you finally get to the place that you want to be in your healing journey. Next, no contact. I have plenty of videos on why you should honor no contact, what to watch before you break no contact. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on no contact, but in healing yourself, no contact is imperative. It's imperative because as long as you are in no contact, you are healing your nervous system. You are having to have no contact because your nervous system is all riled up. And the longer you continue to reintroduce the person that is agitating you, is the longer you keep pushing yourself back and resetting yourself. Some of the changes that are happening within you throughout your healing journey are not going to be noticeable. You're not going to see it. The only way that you will even know that it happened is when you are re triggered all over again and you are responding differently. So allow yourself the space to heal, even the healing that you can't see. And allowing yourself the space to heal involves honoring no contact. Not to mention, let's just be real. No one has ever broken no contact and not regretted it. Okay. You're going to regret it because you're not going to get the response that you want. And I also want to throw in, healthy relationships or healthy endings to relationships don't require no contact. Know that no contact is reserved for toxic or unhealthy dynamics. So if you are in a relationship or in the process of a breakup from someone that requires no contact, there is no future at least not right now. No contact, no future, because the dynamic to begin with is not even healthy enough for growth on both ends for both parties. If you don't know why, please check some of my other videos. Listen, I got a video for everything. I love talking to y'all, okay? But avoidants are normally in the height of their detachment in the middle of no contact. That is how they process. So when you break no contact, you are in the height of your grief. They are in the height of their detachment. You all are meeting each other once again on the opposite end of the spectrum. And the only issue is that you are the only one that has something to lose. Avoidants are already detached. That's why they are responding so blandly, so vanilla. So honor no contact. Just honor no contact. I know it's difficult, but this is a part of the self love journey because honoring no contact is honoring yourself. And then the last thing that I have on my list of ways on how to release these people is by getting community. So when we are dealing with insecure attachment styles, whether it is avoidant or anxious, trust issues is one of our main things. We have issues trusting people. It is not just in romantic relationships, it is also in platonic relationships. So, because we have issues trusting people, we end up doing a lot of things on our own. Or we have a lot of issues asking for help. We have a lot of issues reaching out to people, even when that is the first thing, the absolute one thing that could change our entire day. That all stems from trust issues. So I cannot stress to you enough that when you are going through a breakup, how important it is to have some kind of community because community is how you heal. Number one, a lot of the issues that we have with ourselves, it happened in community. It happened because someone did not show up for us in a way that we wanted them to. So the only way that we can undo that is by allowing other people to show up for us, is putting ourselves in a place to be vulnerable so that we speak a different narrative of what it means to be vulnerable while in connection. So, community is very important. Now, I do have the Inner Glow community, which you can access through my website. It is just $24 a month. If you want to have some kind of support system, I also do live group coaching calls weekly, where it also allows a platform for people randomly to get some live coaching on the spot through a lot of situations that people are going through. A lot of people are going through the same stuff. Also, a therapist. I already just spoke about that, but I do want to reiterate that talk therapy is still a very useful tool. So look into a therapist to help you through the big feelings, especially if you are dealing with emotions that you're not used to dealing with. If you're dealing with emotions that you're used to normally suppressing, you are now learning to recreate your relationship with these heavy emotions. And the last thing you want to do is to do it alone, because doing it alone is what got you here to begin with. So use a therapist for that, or of course, use a relationship coach. I do offer one on one coaching packages. I absolutely love working with people who are ready to get in and do the work because there is just so much transformation that happens by the time we are done. So, if you are interested in speaking with me or working with me, I should say, then check the description box below for all of my contact information. And then lastly, I want to say check into some somatic practices. We talk a lot about trauma and how it shows up for us mentally, but trauma is also stored in the body. Okay, our bodies will respond to familiar events long before our minds do. That is why if you put your hand on a hot stove, before you can think about it being hot, your hand is moving it. So look into some somatic practices that can also help you release trauma that may potentially be stored in your body. I know tapping is starting to become very heavy now. So if you resonate with tapping, maybe you resonate with Reiki. There are so many different somatic practices available to you. And actually, let me know in the comments if you want me to do a video with my shaman, who is also a Reiki master, on some different somatic practices. I know that she would be more than happy to join us and give us an inside look on some different things compared to what kind of trauma you are experiencing, what kind of somatic practice would work best. That was a whole lot. I hope y'all follow. So anyway, let me know if y'all want that video because I would love actually let me know or not. I don't care. We're gonna get this video popping. We're gonna get this video popping. So I want to leave you on this last and final note. Healing is not about forgetting your partner. It is not about questioning how real it was. It is about honoring the part that that person played in your life at where you were at in that life. And the best thing that you can do by honoring that person is by honoring yourself. They are now a part of your story and they deserve to be honored in such a way. And the sooner you get back to you is the sooner you can continue to write your story. The universe, God, Allah, does not give you something amazing and then take it away from you just to replace it with something worse. We are constantly being upgraded. Everything about this life is all about our evolution. We see it as we watch babies grow into adults. We see it with plants. We see it all around us. Everything is about our own evolution. As long as we learn the lessons that are necessary within each connection, then we will be granted a more aligned, a better connection. It is up to you to capitalize on this moment. You are sitting in your pain right now, but you are also sitting in your power. Are you going to use it? If you are ready to turn your pain into power and your power into purpose, then please book a discovery call with me. I would love to have you in the attachment reset program. And my name is Megan, the conscious breakup coach. And until next time, I will see you later.